My name is SRiley, and I teach lots of classes at the high school, but the class that we're looking at today is AP Environmental Science, and the activity that we worked on was called cookie mining. I cannot take credit for this activity. It's one that a lot of AP Environmental Science teachers do, but the premise of it is that the students are given a piece of land, which is going to be a chocolate chip cookie, and they can purchase some tools to help them to mine their cookie. And so what they're trying to do, the goal of this, is to get out as many of the chocolate chips cleanly from their land as possible, because that is their material that they will be able to make a profit off of, but to also try to kind of keep their environment safe and not get too many crumbs and smudges on all of the stuff that is surrounding their land. So this is looking at the environmental impact of mining while also looking at kind of the economic impact of mining and comparing those two together and seeing how do those two things line up. How do we think mining companies kind of view this, and what is the priorities when you are doing this? You are going to be practicing some mining, although it's not real mining because real mining is dangerous. And what you're going to be using is a chocolate chip cookie. So your cookie is going to represent essentially a piece of Earth's surface. And you are going to place your cookie, once you get it, onto your map. And when you look at your map, you're going to see there are a lot of things on your map, because generally it's hard to find, like, plain land that has literally nothing on it. So on your map, you'll see there's like water droplets that represents a river. You're going to see trees. You're going to see deer. You're going to see soil. You're going to see these like vistas, which are just supposed to be like for aesthetics. And so you're going to have to decide where your mining operation is going to take place. You're going to have to place your cookie somewhere on that grid, and that is where your mine is going to be. So you should consider like how much of the land you are disrupting when you place your cookie on your map. Next to your map, you're also going to need a 3x3 grid that you choose as being the area where you are going to like keep all of the stuff that you actually mine, which will be chocolate chips in this example. So that'll be kind of where the rest of your mining operation takes place. So the cookies, your land, and then your mining operation is going to be a 3x3 grid right next to it. And what you are trying to mine is chocolate chips, which in your case is going to represent some kind of nugget of valuable mineral. Gold, silver, I don't know, something. That it's probably more valuable than an actual chocolate chip, but we're using chocolate chips. So you're mining for ore with a goal of making as much money as possible while preserving the environment. You will be fined for destroying the environment. Here are some of the regulations. These are all on your paper as well, so if you want to read them up closer, you need to go back there on the first page, on page 33. You start with $180 million. I'm giving you $180 million. Okay, you're welcome. If your startup costs, the cost to buy your land, buy your tools, costs more than $180 million, you can take out a loan, but you have to hope that you can pay it back and that you won't be in debt. The loan is at a beautiful interest rate of 4.25%, which you can't find these days, so just saying, 4.25%, wonderful. You purchase one piece of land. There are 3 types of land up here. You have lovely Wegmans store brand chocolate chip cookies, regular original Chips Ahoy, and chewy Chips Ahoy. They cost different amounts of money. On your paper, you'll see the costs are laid out for you. The store brand is $20 million. Chips Ahoy, $40 million. Chewy Chips Ahoy, $60 million. You're gonna have to decide what piece of land you wanna make. Your hands will not be used during your mining operation. You will have to buy tools. Your tools. Lovely flat toothpicks. You'll get to look at them when you come up, when you decide. Round toothpicks and paper clips. You can purchase up to 3 tools. The tools are expensive. $50 million, $70 million, $90 million. Whoa. If your tool breaks, you can purchase some tape for a cost, and it's not cheap. You cannot share your mining equipment, and once we start mining, you can't purchase more equipment. So what you buy, that's what you're stuck with. I'm sorry. If your equipment breaks, you can replace it for a cost of $10 million. you will have 2 minutes at the end to reclaim your land. So here's the important piece. You are going to be mining your chocolate chip cookie, and you're going to be trying to get as much chocolate chips into your little 3x3 square using just your tools. Your goal is to mine clean chocolate chips. If they have land still on them, they are not going to be worth as much money as if they were clean chocolate chips. And your goal is to mine whole clean chocolate chips, because whole chocolate chips are worth more than partial chocolate chips. However, all of the stuff, all the crumbs that land outside of your mining operation are going to cost you money at the end, because now you have destroyed that land. So at the end of your mining operation, which will be 7 minutes, you will have 2 minutes to try to reclaim as much as possible to get all your little crumbs back where they started, using your tools. If you would like to purchase an additional minute at the end because you feel like you still have so many crumbs left, you can purchase another minute for $10 million, which might be worth it because remember, you're going to get fined for all your stuff that's not in your mining area.
And how much is it?
$10 million per minute. The fines range from $5 million per crumb to $20 million if it's a smudge. A smudge is like acid drainage. You don't want that. You also can't really clean up the smudges, so, you know, that's too bad. All right, all mine ores must be cleaned and transported to your processing plant, your 3x3 grid, and any ore that moves outside of the mining area grid, if you had crumbs on your desk, on the floor, etc., those cannot be reclaimed. You're just gonna get fined for that. So be careful. At no point should you brush away, blow, or remove crumbs. I will fine you. All right, so here's the first piece that you're gonna do. You are going to come up and you are going to decide what land you are going to purchase and what tools you are gonna purchase. Remember, you have $180 million to start. You don't have to use all of it to start. You can use some of it. Or you can use more than all of it, but you'll be taking out a loan, so you better really hope that you're making money, or you're gonna be in debt at the end. You should come up here. You should look at your options. You should decide what you're gonna purchase. Remember, you're purchasing 1 piece of land, and then you are purchasing up to 3 tools. If you purchase a paper clip, you are allowed to change the shape of the paper clip, but once you change the shape of the paper clip, that's what you're working with. So like if you wanna, you know, do one of these, you can, but like halfway through, you can't be like, actually, I hate that. So you should think about that. All right, so right now you're coming up, you're getting your stuff. Once you get your materials, you're gonna go back to your desk and you're gonna look at the first few steps in your procedure and start to do that. It's gonna ask you to like record how much money you're spending. It's gonna ask you to trace your cookie on your land where you're gonna place it. So come up and get your stuff and then go back and start with your placement. Grabbing 1 cookie. Which one are you doing, this one?
Am I allowed to break this into 2?
Yes, you just like then that's what you're using. But yeah. And you know, later if you decide that you want it 1 piece, you're gonna have to pay $10 million for a piece of tape. You can get up to 3 tools right now.
Because if I get a better equipment and a cheaper one, it'll be better.
So once you place your cookie, figure out where you want to place it. You can choose where you place it.
And like that's...
You might want to try not to destroy all of the land when you place your cookie.
So what do I do? Oh no. What if I put it here, then I'm going to kill the views? She's done. I don't know what to do.
You want to just
I'm gonna try to put it where it's like the least amount of things. Okay, I'm considering right here because it has like the least amount of things. It's only 3 things I'd have to cut down. Or right here because it also has the least amount of things, but it's kind of a lot of trees. So I'm debating.
Tough choice.
Yes, tough choices.
You're gonna stay where you keep it, and then when you do your mining, you're gonna get. You're tracing where your actual cookie is, and then near it, you're making a 3x3 square. That's your mining operation. That's where you're gonna collect your chocolate chips. The last thing I need you to do before we start our mining is this right here, which is record the types of natural attributes impacted directly by your mining operation, including the cookie placement as well as the processing plant. So, on your paper, still on page 35, you have a table. It says natural attributes, and it says like trees, water, right? The first column says quantity directly impacted. So if your cookie covers 4 water droplets, you would need to record 4 next to water. You're including where your cookie is in addition to your 3x3 box for your mining operation. So anything that those 2 areas cover is directly impacted by your mining operation. You've already destroyed that land. So sad. Grab your tool and put your cookie in the circle. Remember that you can't use your hands. You can only use your tools. Reminder, your goal is to get as many clean chocolate chips as possible into your 3x3 square without destroying everything around it. After the 7 minutes, you'll get 2 minutes at the end to clean up any chaos that you have caused. Are we ready?
I have a handle moment going on. I don't really know what I'm doing though. And then I'm gonna scoop it with this. Hopefully. Hopefully. We'll see.
So why did you decide to use the paper clip?
Because I thought it would be better if it didn't break, because I would have to buy 2 of the other one, and this would be cheaper.
All right, what'd you select? The toothpick, the flat one, the
Round one.
the round one. How's it going?
Not good.
It has to be clean, guys.
Which cookie did you go for? Because that looks
The
easy.
chewy one.
She went with chewy.
Oh my god. Oh, that one.
This is gonna be a chewy one too, huh?
Yeah.
So these are the 3 types of land you can choose from. They can also
So wait, which type of cookie did you get?
The hardest one possible.
What type of cookie did you get?
I got the 60 million one.
How's it going? Not well. Not well. Not well.
So you went with 2 tools?
Yeah.
Is it hard to not use your fingers?
No.
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 I think a lot of people just selected 1 tool. They can get up to 3, right?
Yeah, they're just expensive.
Yeah, and they can't use their fingers at all.
No.
Oh. How's it going?
Not good.
Not good. Do you wish you'd picked a different tool or a cookie or what?
Well, no, because my tool just broke.
Uh-oh.
I wish I used my hands or something.
Look at all those crumbs.
I know.
You're getting fined.
I know.
So how confident are you feeling right now?
I got crumbs everywhere.
He's trying to be Insta famous.
I got crumbs everywhere.
name.
Yeah, okay, tell me your name.
It's Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
I can't get that middle one out. It's so stuck in there.
So you guys just chose 1 tool?
Yep.
Okay.
What are clean chocolate chips there. So if it has crumbs on it, it's not going to count as a clean chocolate chip. You're trying to get the crumbs off. After the 7 minutes, you'll get 2
Good job.
minutes to try to
Oh, you got some clean
I have a few.
chocolate chips.
Oh my god.
You got a little over 2 minutes
This is not
left for
working.
your mining, and then at the end, you're going to get 2 minutes to clean up. Remember, even the tiniest little crumb will count against you. Are you kidding? I am not kidding. This is serious business, LaGrace. Oh my god. What happened? What happened?
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I feel like there's going to be a couple fine. So what happens with the crumbs? As long as it stays within where the cookie was?
If it's where the cookie was, it's fine because that's your original land.
Alright, well.
But if it's outside of that, so she's gonna have a lot of reclamation to do in those 2 minutes to try to get all of her crumbs back.
Whoa, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in on this.
Yeah. Your box,
Getting
you
desperate.
only want chocolate chips. Oh. Okay, put your tools down.
The stress.
Okay. So you should look at your land. Formulate a little game plan for your reclamation, which is going to be 2 minutes. You can only use your tools. Remember, your goal is to not have crumbs outside of your mining operation. So in your 3x3 box, that's where you want your profits. Your profits, only your chocolate chips, right? In your original land, your circle, that's where you want all the rest of your crumbs to be. You cannot blow on the crumbs to get them back into the circle. You can't like shuffle them in with your whole hand. You can only use your tools. You're gonna have 2 minutes. At the end of the 2 minutes, stuff that's outside of your little circle, I hope you have a lot of money. Okay. Shaded in boxes that have crumbs, circle things with smudges, and counted up your chocolate chips. Everything else, like all the math and stuff, we can finish that tomorrow if we have to. But you're not gonna be able to like save your paper with your cookie on it until tomorrow. So you need to take a look at the damage, calculate that. Take a look at your profits, calculate that. We can do all the math after if we need to. If you purchased an extra minute, under table E where it says reclamation costs, it says additional time. If you purchase an additional minute, make sure you put a 1 there. All right, did you guys calculate this? Yes? And this. So any shaded boxes, count them up. Any smudges, count them up.
I have 11 boxes that are shaded right now. So that's $55 million. Plus $40 million. Plus $10 million. Plus a lot more because I added more support.
If you could do something different, what would you have done?
I would have gotten a different cookie. I think I got the wrong cookie.
Yeah.
So it would,
What about your tool? That work well?
I think my tool is fine. I think the paper clip would have messed me up a little bit.
How'd you do?
I did all right. I
The cost per
think I did a good job cleaning, but not so much the chocolate chips. I feel like I have a lot of dirty ones.
All right. So, what are the takeaways?
Writing's really hard.
Writing's hard,
Expensive.
and it'll
Very
never
expensive.
be perfect. There's always gonna be something else going on that you can't control.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose a lot of money and destroy a lot of land.
Do you wish you had picked different
Yes.
tools
Yes.
or strategies, or what would you have changed?
I probably would have broken up my cookie a little more.
I think I just needed like a little bit more time because it was kind of rushed. I would have gotten different tools for sure. I cheaped out, and that was a big mistake.
So don't cheap it out.
Yeah, don't cheap out.
Because you'll pay for it afterwards.
A lot, yeah.
Okay. All right, great job. Did you guys have fun?
Yes. It was very fun. Stressful but fun.
In a general sense, this lab includes lots of different aspects to it. There's kind of independent work, there's students talking to each other, comparing their results, and there are many, many steps that they have to follow, both within the process of their mining and then also in the follow-up where they're doing lots of different calculations. Both calculations in terms of how much money they made and how much money they lost, but also looking at what is the impact on their environment. And so one of the things that I noticed while doing this activity, this is my second time doing this activity, but one of the things I noticed is they start to get lost in all of the steps because it's two different things. They're looking at money and then they're looking at the environment, and there's all these directions about how those two things go together. So for this activity, it was really helpful for kind of day one, let them do it, make sure that they collected the data they were gonna need for the second day, but just kind of leave it at that. And then the second day, kind of putting up the different steps on the board and walking them through it. So, okay, now we're gonna fill out this column. You're gonna base it off of your data, but here's how you do it. And then next, you're gonna do this column. And so kind of keeping everyone on the same track. Otherwise, what you notice is, 3 or 4 kids might get it and blast right through it and be able to finish everything. Otherwise, you're kind of running around answering the same question 12 times. So this type of activity with so many steps, I find it's more helpful to just kind of, let them do the activity, but then when you're doing the analysis aspect of it, really break it down and kind of go through it with them. At the end of the day, they're still doing their own analysis because they have different data than the person next to them. They are asking clarifying questions based on what they see in front of them and not based on kind of just a general thing. So it's still their own work, but it helps make it so that you're not going crazy running around the room, and they're still getting the same stuff out of it at the end of the day. And so you're able to kind of wrap it up by asking them, now that you have all your data, you have all your calculations, you have your environmental impact, how do these two things compare? So we're able to ask, kids who made a profit, what does your environment look like? Kids who lost money, what does your environment look like? How do we think these things are connected? what do we think in real world? What is this gonna look like? Do we think mining companies really care about the environment? And so by kind of going through it together, it allows us to have those conversations to make sure that the kids are actually taking away from the activity what you want them to. Because sometimes you do something fun and they have fun and you ask them, oh, how is it? And they're like, oh, it was fun, and which is great. But they also have certain things that they need to know that they're taking away from it. And so by going through it together, breaking it down, going through the steps, it ensures that all of the kids are gonna kind of end up at the same place at the end of it. Looking at this table right here, which is the impact on your land, you should so far have just the first 2 columns of information. The first column was your like pre-information, the stuff that was impacted by where your cookie was and where your 3x3 box was. The second column, which you might not have filled out yet yesterday, but you should have shaded your boxes yesterday of anywhere that had crumbs. Did you do that? And you have it in front of you? Okay, take a moment, count those up. So you are not including on this column the boxes that you already included on the first one, right? So like the stuff from your cookie and the stuff from your 3x3 box, you already accounted for that. But any new boxes that got shaded in because they had crumbs in them at the end, that is what you're counting up here. So if you have 2 boxes that had trees on them and had crumbs on them, put a 2 here. So you're counting up your new pieces of land that were impacted. If you had 0 crumbs and 0 smudges on your paper, you can throw zeros in all these. Equipment costs. Down here is where you should have recorded what you bought for equipment. If you didn't fill it in yet, hopefully you remember what you bought. If you bought 1 flat toothpick, you throw a 1 here, and then your total cost would be 50 million. If you bought 1 round toothpick, 70 million. So you're gonna have your total equipment costs here. I don't think anybody bought tape from me, right? So these you can just put 0 and 0 there. Then flip over to your reclamation costs. You may have started to fill this in yesterday, but I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. So additional time, for those of you that bought an additional minute, put a 1 here, so then your total would be $10 million, the cost for that time. If you didn't buy any additional time, you can put a 0. This one is asking for unreclaimed grids shaded. So those extra boxes that you shaded, not the original ones, right? Not your original 3x3, not your original cookie, but the ones you just counted up and wrote on that column. Total those numbers together. What is that total number? You're gonna put that number here, 5 million per box. So if you shaded 5 squares in, your cost here is gonna be 25 million. This, Juliet, is where the smudges come into play. If you have smudges, the smudges are separate. So if you have 2 smudges, put 2 here. Those are $20 million each. And then this, who asked me? Alicia, you asked me about the damage outside the grid. That's going here. Any damage outside your mining grid. So if you had damage, like you circled things outside your grid, like down here you had crumbs or up here you had crumbs, your number goes here and you're putting that in this column. Then you're adding up your total cost. So right here, all of these numbers totaled together. Yeah, if your land happened to have nothing in it and it got a crumb in it, then you just got lucky.
Does this count still? It counts, right?
Yes,
okay.
That counts, yeah. If it's outside of your mining area and there's smudges and crumbs and stuff, that's where you have to start paying attention to it. Okay, let's count up our profits. My hope is that yesterday you recorded how many chocolate chips you were able to get, right? All right, so if you have numbers in here, now you need to do a little math, okay? So each whole clean chocolate chip is 4 million tons. And then the price that you can like sell that for example, is $15 per ton. So if you got 1 whole chocolate chip, you would need to do 4 million times $15 to figure out the total cost, the total price for that. Same thing down here for these ones. 2 million tons for a partial clean chocolate chip, $13 per ton. 4 million still for a whole dirty, but it's not worth as much. It's only $10 per ton. So you're just multiplying this number times this number times this number to get your total, and then you're adding up your total amount of money that you are getting from your chocolate chips there, but you have to pay taxes. Always the taxes. Every day for the rest of your life, you'll be paying taxes. I'm sorry. Yeah. To figure out your taxes paid, you need to take the total amount that you get here and figure out what 10% of that is. In order to do that, multiply your number by 0.1. And that will tell you how many taxes you have to pay. If you made $500 million, you need to pay 10% of that in taxes. Times 0.1 will tell you the amount of taxes that you'll pay.
28 million.
So $28 million. Oh yeah, because you made 280 million. So you got to pay 28 million in taxes. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay.
$7.
$7? Oh, 37.
30. That's wrong.
How much money did you make? 372 million though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You cheater. You're gonna get audited so hard. How are we doing with the math? Yes.
Is it fine if I'm writing it with an M?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Did we figure it out? 70 million in taxes? Wow. You did have a lot of chocolate chips, so. Come down here to your profit loss statement. You've already done a lot of this math. You're just gonna go find the numbers. So, total land cost. This was, how much did your cookie cost? Total equipment cost. You're gonna flip back here. Your total equipment cost was down here. So whatever this number is. Okay, money borrowed from the bank. Here's what you need to look at. Add these two numbers together. Is anyone's number bigger than 180 million? No? Everyone? Yes? Your number's bigger than 180 million?
Mine is 200 million.
200. Okay, so that means you borrowed 20 million, right? You borrowed 20 million. And now you also have to pay an interest rate on that. Sorry. So Kira, what I'm going to have you do, write your 20 million, and then you need to figure out what 4.25% of that is. If you need help, I'll come help you after we finish filling in the rest of the table, okay? Equipment repairs, 0. Nobody bought tape from me, so 0. Reclamation cost, that's your number from right here. Copy that number in. Reclamation cost is this one right here. Taxes, that's your number that you calculated right here, your taxes to be paid. Write that in taxes. And then, oh no, surprise, surprise, you actually have more things you have to pay for. $50 million for facility costs, $270 million for operating costs, you have to pay your workers, and $80 million for environmental costs, permitting, pre-mine studies, including a $50 million bond. So, add up all these numbers. Add up all these numbers and figure out what your losses are. Kira, are you all set with this?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yep. Yep. So now you're just adding all these together to get a total. All right, let's look at our profits. Money earned from retrieved ore. So this number is coming from right here. And then you're welcome. I'm giving you some money back. $30 million. You're going to sell some equipment. $50 million back for your reclamation bond. This is your total profit. This number right here is coming from from your ore mining evaluation table. This is the box you're looking at. Copy this number. For a lot of you, it was like 500 million, 700 million, something like that. That's going here. Add 30 million and 50 million to that to get a total profit.
Bro, I lost so much money. I'm broke.
Maybe I didn't lose as much money as I thought I did.
To figure out if you made an actual profit or not, take your profit number, this is your positive amount, and subtract your losses.
I don't want to know.
So you're taking this number right here from the profit, and you are subtracting your losses to figure out, did you make an actual profit?
What's going on?
So technically, I made 80 million, but after I got chipped, if I didn't get this, I would have made no money at all. If I didn't get the salvage credits and the reclamation, I would have made no money.
So was it worth it?
No, it was not worth the stress at all. Not at all.
Did we get numbers? Raise your hand if you made a positive profit. Whoa. Yes, Garrett, did you have all that? wait, but just wait. We haven't looked at how much they destroyed their environment yet.
So you got positive
Yeah, I think I got 52 million in return.
52.
Yep.
How much did people lose? People that are in debt, how much do you owe? 245 million?
206.
206 million.
How much do you owe?
428.
Oh my god.
428? Yikes. Anyone have more than 428 million in debt? More than how much? Alicia, you have more than that? This doesn't seem right. We're gonna go through each piece of land, like the different aspects of the land, the water, the trees, the soil, and we're gonna figure out how much we kind of destroyed our environment indirectly. So this is the last piece. So we're starting with water. For the water, because the water flows north to south, so you're starting at the top and looking down on your paper, water that is compromised upstream can have an effect on water quality downstream. For any water square compromised, this can be from where your cookie was placed, this could be from your mining facility, or this could be from where crumbs landed. Any box that is like, that you counted earlier as being damaged. For any box that is compromised, all connecting water downstream is compromised, because now you have pollution in it. So you need to put X's in those boxes. So let me show you an example of this so that you know what I'm talking about. If you, let's pretend, and I'm sure someone probably did this and I'm sorry. Let's pretend your cookie was up here. Or this box is shaded in for some reason. Like your cookie was there, your mining facility was there, or you got a crumb there. Any water that is touching that downstream gets an X in it. So if I were to do this, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh no, this poor river is destroyed. Also on this side. Ah. So it would be literally all of the water if you put your box up there. Or if you had crumbs in there. Yeah, it's anything that's directly touching water, any water droplet that touches it, put an X through it. But these ones are fine, right?
Are they, or am I counting that one too?
So then it's just anything downstream. So then it's just gonna be these guys,
So
but these ones are fine.
When
Yep.
I go this way too? Or?
Nope, just downstream. Okay. Yep, yeah, just downstream.
Okay, so it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, it's only half the river. Yeah.
It's more like a quarter.
Count up your water droplet boxes, and that goes back in this table at the beginning as the quantity indirectly impacted.
Oh, so no.
All of those?
How did you damage zero water?
All of these. Yeah, so like these, right? But nothing above it,
Upsetting me.
just below it. Yeah. Next is soil. This is where it starts to get confusing, so just listen carefully to the directions. Topsoil requires 3 clean water squares to maintain moisture. Any topsoil that loses moisture by not having enough water will be prone to erosion. They cannot share these squares with other patches of topsoil. They do not have to be touching the water squares to use them. So here's what you need to do. Here's the easiest way to do this. Count up the number of water squares that you have left that are fine, that don't have X's in them. 3 boxes of water can support 1 topsoil. So take your number that you calculated, divide it by 3. You can't have a decimal of a topsoil. So if your answer is 7.3, you can only support 7 topsoils. If your answer is 0.3, you can support 0 topsoils. So what you're then gonna have to go through your chart. You can cross out any topsoils you want, it doesn't matter which ones. If you can only support 5 topsoils, you need to cross out all the rest of them. If you can support 0 topsoils, cross out all your topsoils. So this one's not as bad. 3 trees can share 1 topsoil. So how many topsoils do you have? Count them up. How many healthy topsoils do you have? If you have 1 healthy topsoil, you can support 3 trees. So in this one, instead of dividing, you are multiplying. Count up your healthy topsoils, multiply by 3. If you have no topsoil, you have no trees. So figure out how many trees you can support, figure out how many you have left, see if you need to cross anything out. How are our trees doing? Are they surviving? Once you got your trees, we're doing deer. Ready? Deer. Each deer requires 3 tree squares and 3 water squares. They need to eat and they need to drink water. So your deer need 3 trees and 3 water. So this is a little bit more complicated. You already counted how many water squares you have, right? You wrote it probably on the bottom of your paper somewhere. That was that first one that you counted up. Now count up how many trees you have. How many trees do you have? So figure out how many waters you have and how many trees you have. Oh, you have a nice healthy environment going on now. Very nice.
It's broke, but...
Right, but he saved the environment. So, you know, it's just priorities. Here's the easiest way to do this. You have a limiting factor, which is whichever one you have less of. So look at your 2 numbers, your trees and your water. Remember that your deer need 3 of each. So if you have 40 waters, but you only have 3 trees, you can only support 1 deer. So if you have, Miguel, what did you have, 28 water and 27 trees? Yeah. So take your smaller number, 27, divide by 3, you can support 9 deer. Take your smaller number of the 2, divide it by 3, that's how many deer you can support. Cross out any other deer that you can't support. Last one are the vistas, are aesthetically pleasing areas where people can enjoy the scenic view. In order for vistas to maintain their integrity, they cannot have a decrease in biodiversity or water pollution nearby. Any box touching the vista, this includes top and bottom corners, top, bottom, side, find the vistas. If you don't know what they look like, find the key on your paper. Any box that is touching it that has an X or is shaded is now destroying the natural beauty of your vista, and that vista is no longer good. So in order for a vista to survive, all the boxes that are touching it have to be clean, not shaded and not X'd. If it is touching something that is no longer appealing, cross it off. So far, you should have all of these shaded, these filled in. This one you filled in before we started. This one you filled in after you mined. This was where like your crumbs and your smudges landed. This is the part we just did. This was the stuff you just put X's in. Any boxes that are not shaded in or have X's on them that have like a deer in them, for example, are considered healthy natural attributes. So you're gonna go through and count up how many trees, how many healthy trees do you have? How many healthy water droplets do you have? Not bad.
All right, I feel like your body language is telling me a lot about this, the results.
All right.
Talk to me.
So I think my results are like they could be better. I feel like we got similar results, but yeah, come weigh in on this. How are my results?
That's not bad. Did you have a profit?
Yeah.
That's pretty good for having a profit, I feel like. Usually.
All right.
We'll talk about it as a class, about what usually happens. All right. Did we... LaGrace, I would hire you.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah. Okay. So now you should see kind of what your healthy attributes look like. And now I want you to just kind of think. Raise your hand again if you had a profit. LaGrace, Derek. That's it? Derek, what was your environmental situation at the end?
I had 20 trees, 6 deer habitat, 7 topsoil, 22 water, and 5 vistas.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a profit. What do you think? Let's think about what happens in real life with mining. If you are a company that makes a bunch of money, makes a ton of profit, that probably means that you were able to get as much chocolate chips, as much ore out of the earth as possible, right? Which means, what do you think is likely to be happening in real life if you're doing that to the environment? Good or bad? Bad, probably. So realistically, if you have a lot of profit, your environment is probably worse than people who didn't make as much profit. Now there's other things that play into this, right? Like some of you were able to really quickly clean up your crumbs. People had different strategies, people had different tools. So there's different things that play into this. But if we think realistically as a mining company, probably the more profit you have, the more damage to your environment you're going to have, right? what do we think? Do you think that the mining companies are doing this? And they're like, oh shoot, we killed the environment. We should probably fix some stuff. No. So this is kind of the impact of that mining, right? Is that as we kind of destroy the earth and pick it apart to make money, we're doing something at the same time to the environment. And there's got to be some kind of balance that occurs in between those two things, right? And so that's what you're going to see on the conclusion questions for this.
So tell me maybe your strategy and then the results.
I thought if I used a soft cookie and a hard like object, I'd be able to just kind of like scoop it out and just like kind of take it and just go like right there.
Yeah.
But my hands are really warm, so it melted it a little bit. So I have a lot of smudges from like every little circle is a smudge. And then a lot of my water was affected, which I honestly don't think I did the water part right because I have 3 healthy waters. But it was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. I thought I was gonna be like, yeah, let me just like,
yeah.
Like I can't hold it with my fingers to like keep the cookie still. It was just.
So in terms of a business and making money, how did that go?
Absolutely horrible. I have where is it? I think I have like 260 million in debt.
And then in terms of the environment,
very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. I have like
what survived?
Nothing. I have 1 deer habitat left, 1 topsoil left, 3 trees, 3 waters, and 3 vistas.
Not worth it.
No.
Do you think you're keeping your job as a miner?
Absolutely not. Thank you. Not for me. Not for me.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. It kept me entertained.
Yeah. Entertained. Okay.
I liked this activity because it gives us an insight into what happens in the real world. But like you also think about things more, like environmental.
Good.